the first step is unaware. So they aren't even sure or aware of the social problem that you have. So he gives these tactics on what to actually do to send out messaging. So this is kind of more that PR marketing standpoint to look at. So he says use storytelling, data, educational content about the issue, not about your work. So this might seem counterintuitive, but if somebody really truly doesn't know about some whatever topic, maybe we talked to an organization called Circle of Hope a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, and she deals with finding clothing and like gently used items for people who are, oh, yay, great. Hi, Morgan. I can't see you, but it's good to have you here. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, if you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to poke them in the chat. I'm just testing out audio, visual. I've got a new webcam and I haven't figured out the setup yet. So we're definitely trying to figure that out. And I found out that you can do screen share. So we're going through some of this from another Substack writer from Kevin. And he talks about the 5 stages of donors. And I just wanted to overview it for a few minutes to get like a feel for these chats. I won't take up the full 30 minutes just because this is mostly a test run. But yeah, basically we're going to have like starting not next week because I'm getting married, but the weekend after. So the first weekend in June, we're going to do live Q&A, article review, lessons, that type of stuff. So I'm really excited. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I did a couple of years ago. It went really well. But yeah, so that's kind of upcoming. I was using the example of Circle of Hope, which we interviewed in the podcast. I think it was episode 10 or 11, it might be 11. And yeah, we talked to the executive director, and there are some people who truly don't know that there's a services gap for people that have or are currently experiencing homelessness. So one example that I didn't know a ton about was like young moms who just had a baby. And so if you are pregnant and homeless, what does that look like for you? And so what they can do if they aren't already is if they're in the unaware stage, they can start messaging with, hey, Yasmin, good to have you. We're just going through this article from Kevin Brown on Fundable and Findable on 5 stages of donors. Feel free to jump in with any questions in the chat and I'll prioritize those. It can be related to or other questions that you have based on whatever you're going through. Good to have you. But yeah, so in her case, if people aren't aware of homelessness for young moms, for example, or whatever your cause is, it might not even be, hey, we're Circle of Hope, but it can be more about, hey, have you ever noticed a young mom who just like got out of the hospital and is homeless, experiencing homelessness? What does that look like for her? And they might take her as a young mom going through homelessness and create a whole avatar around her and take you through the journey through social media, for example, or maybe it's a blog post or a Substack post. So that's where the unaware piece comes from. You know, not a lot of people, I didn't realize like, wow, there might be moms that are having their baby and don't have a place to stay and they're like jumping around from different like couch surfing, or it could be I know that there are a lot of like special like places that people can go for shelter, and so they can have a place to rest, but they're not often able to stay there and keep their things there. So it's a really contentious time. But yeah, that's where that storytelling is really going to come from. And then at that point, you're hopefully curating some sort of curiosity for the problem, right? And so that's where they jump down into problem aware. So your donor, potential donor, or even volunteer, this doesn't have to just relate to donors, can be problem aware. So understand the problem, but maybe they don't quite understand what the solutions are. They're like, wow, that sucks that there are people that are having kids, giving birth, going through a really intense time of life. And on top of that, they're experiencing homelessness. So this is where in the storytelling stage, you kind of bridge into, wow, those pain points, I'm getting frustrated about it. I am angry that there are people going through this and they don't have the support they need. And that's where you then start sharing outcomes and benefits of solving the problem. What would it look like for a young mom who just gave birth to have the support that she needs from a community that would be supportive of her, the supplies she needs to keep her child healthy and happy, And then it's this natural progression, right? Because then the solution becomes like, what's the problem? Wow, how do we fix this, right? You're upset, you're angry, you're feeling these big feelings, and you start to get to the solution. So you don't know who's doing the good, but you know that there's somebody out there that has to be doing the good, or what can you do to start to fill in the gaps? That's where you start to introduce your mission. I think a lot of nonprofits, they actually jump from problem or unaware into solution aware. And while that's helpful and definitely a strategy, the problem aware, where you're agitating those pain points, is so critical, because that's where you start getting sticky with them. That's where the donor or volunteer, the person that's going to get engaged with your nonprofit, starts to notice, okay, I can get behind this. This is a real problem, right? That acknowledgement in them is like flipping the switch of like, not just, oh, I'm a passive bystander, but like, oh, I need to solve this problem. I need to help solve this problem. So yeah, solution aware. You're still not quite saying, hi, we're this organization that helps it, but you're starting to introduce yourself. Like, you meet somebody. I know I have my friend Morgan on today. I'm so glad you're here. We met at a co-working space. So this is like hey, I'm meeting you at a coffee shop and like introducing myself. When you meet somebody, you're not necessarily giving you the data for impact. You're not, hard selling anybody yet. You're just introducing yourself, right? So that's solution aware. Organization aware is, now that they know that you're the solution, yeah, Morgan, I love that. You're not sure if they want to fund it. So this is like, okay, I've met somebody and they're great. Do I want to like pursue a relationship with them? In this case, like a donor relationship. This is where you really want to provide that empirical data. And we have the podcast. I think it's fully dropped also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But I always drop here on Substack first when I have podcasts, for at least a week ahead of time, so you get that juicy information quicker. But we talked with Evelyn and John from Resilience Consulting a couple weeks ago, and dove into how do we as nonprofits, how do we as small business owners provide data and social return on investment numbers so that people can trust us and understand, hey, this is an organization that's actually doing the work, that's actually impacting the world, impacting their communities. So that's really where the organization aware becomes, you're doing that deep dive, right? You're really truly getting, this is like second, third coffee date, with a new friend or a donor. You want to really provide the proof, provide participant testimonials, like maybe a single mom that's, just had a baby, going through homelessness. Like, can you get a couple of them to share on video, write a testimonial, share why you were the solution that helped them? And then we jump to the fifth and final stage on Kevin's scale of donors. And this is most aware. So they want to fund you. They just don't know. They need to know when they can do it and how much. This is where you want to make it easy for them to give. I recommend GiveButter personally to my clients who are just starting out with fundraising. GiveButter is great. It's super user friendly. They have like a very basic CRM, which is a customer or client relations manager. So basically you can like send emails, keep track of receipts, send them their like annual receipts for giving, run reports, figure out who are your donors actually. And that's a really helpful tool to have. And GiveButter, you can always add, like, there's a slide that you can toggle of like have it just take a percent, like it'll take like a little bit off the top from the donors, or you can say, hey donor, this website allows me to be operating for free as a landing page, but it does charge a little fee per, like a credit card fee and stuff like that. So it's a great starting point for you. If you're looking for one, I can always do a chat on GiveButter. I am not the expert on it, but I know enough to get you through the first stages. So anyway, most aware, keeping messaging concise, making the ask, and explaining how the gift will be used. This is what people get nervous about when they're fundraising. They think it's all about most aware because that's where your dollars are coming from, right? But when you start breaking it down, it's like when you get into a lake or the ocean, right? You're not gonna swim right away. That's nerve-wracking. You dip your toe in and then you start to wade in, and right, and so you're getting deeper into the water, but you're not jumping right in. And I think this whole process of like this build, right, as you're going through the marketing, going through the PR, really helps people to warm up to you, right? And again, it's like building a friendship, building a relationship. And that's really the basis of fundraising, truly, is like that you're building that relationship. Anyone in the chat, I would love to see any thoughts you have on this, any questions you have. But yeah, I'll just keep chatting for a little bit. Great. Thanks, Morgan. Glad to hear that. But yeah, so when you do get to that most aware point where they're like, oh, how do I give? Keep it like, hey, thanks for giving. Here's like a link, or you can mail a check to X person. And this is how your dollars will be used. And Givebutter, again, is a really great resource. I might have a client come on at some point and share what their testimonial is about it. But you can literally say like every dollar provides one meal to a kid in Kenya, for example, or every $20 provides a new bed for somebody at this like shelter. So yeah, you'll want to have that data on hand. I have a client right now and he is working with some really great, yeah, right. Like, I love that, Morgan. She says, I like how it says to get specific about the ask. I often feel hesitant at this step. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and that's a great point, like feeling hesitant at that step yourself, right? How would you feel going through these 5 stages? Ask yourself that. Ask them what they think, but it's much, much better to give the exact ask. Yeah, definitely. That's really great input, Morgan. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I know I was just about to say, my friends that has a nonprofit in Oakland, California, they have different tiers of giving. And so like a low, medium, high can be a really helpful technique too, to be like, hey, here's, like $50, $100, $500. Maybe that's like the stack you have. Maybe you have a different tiered amount for like a corporate donor. And that's something we can totally dive into. But yeah, those are basically the main things I really wanted to chat through. This article is really great, and I do have it. Let me see if I can pin that in the chat. No, I don't think I can. But yeah, it's a really helpful, this is a great Substack. This is, again, fundable and findable. So I really appreciate the content Kevin puts out. But yeah, it's just like got a great series of topics that you can do. So yeah, I'll stop sharing with that. Let's see. Oh, easy peasy. Great. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm glad that the sound and audio worked. I'm going to switch over to my camera and let's see what that looks like. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I definitely think this is me testing it out. The resolution seems a little better on the other webcam. I may get a different one yet, just because the positioning of it feels a little strange to me, but I like being able to like feel like I'm looking at you, Yasmin, Morgan, any other questions or thoughts before? I know this is a quick little check-in, but like I said, I'm really excited to offer a couple of these for free, and then the paid members will be having more access since it's going to be more Q&A interactive going forward. But yeah, during the summer, we'll do a couple of these that are open to everybody, which will be nice. So thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. It's always more fun. I will publish this particular live. I'll figure out how to do all that. And hi, Katie. We're just finishing up, but feel free if you have any chats, feel free to jump on and ask any questions you have. I'll stay on for a few minutes and just catch you guys up. I will be posting this replay soon, so I'll definitely, this is me playing around in Substack to figure out what's helpful for you guys. So thanks so much for joining. Katie, since you just jumped on, I'll give you the quick and dirty. Today we went through Kevin Brown's Substack, where he talks about the 5 stages of donors. And I just talked through that. I'll share my screen for you since you're here. Share a window, this one, And there you go. So yeah, that way you can at least see the stages. But I just talked through them so that you're able to kind of get an idea of what types of content we'll go through. So not this upcoming Friday because I'm getting married, but the following Friday, back when we jump into the month of June, I'm going to be jumping on for 20 to 30 minutes every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So hopefully you guys can make it. If you like these, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you're not already. Subscribe to the Substack. This is Nonprofit Curious. And my hope and dream is to help you guys out really tactically, provide hot takes on things, provide lessons on what's happening currently, give you tactical advice on how to manage an early stage nonprofit, and do some Q&A. So that's part of why I have the chat open. For the summer, we'll do a couple of these that are unpaid. So that way anyone can kind of like get a feel for it, and then we'll move to paid as the summer progresses. So yeah, thanks so much for jumping on. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you guys also. Morgan, thanks for being so active in the chat. I really appreciate that a ton. Really loved your feedback. And yeah, with that, I'm going to just hop off. I'll stay on for another couple seconds. Yasmin, Morgan, Katie, thanks for jumping on for the live. I appreciate it. Thanks, Morgan. I know I'm so excited to get married. So excited. It's been really fun just planning, and it's going to be like a nice small family wedding, basically just a small group of us, but I'm really excited. We're getting married in Niagara Falls next Sunday. So yeah, thank you. I'll give you a little heart there. All right. Well, thanks guys so much for jumping on, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.